be rude or mean or anything, but I was at a dinner with this woman who was so obese. She was telling me how she couldn't find any swimwear for girls who are curvy. I thought to myself, oh my God, like you're refusing to live in reality. You're delusional. I am curvy, you are obese. And she kept referring to herself as curvy. Women, they take no accountability and they don't live in reality. She's delusional.
In what sense is our society male dominated?
The fact that the vast majority of wealth is owned by men, the vast majority of capital is owned by men. Women do more unpaid labour.
Very tiny proportion of men, and a huge proportion of people who are seriously disaffected are men. Most people in prison are men. Most people who are on the street are men. Most victims of violent crime are men. Appropriate.
Chauvinism is? Chauvinism means one sex thinking they're superior to another. Why is it when men think they're superior, we call it chauvinism, but when women think they're superior, we call it feminism?
Because they're being brainwashed. None of them have thought of that before. Look at all their faces. Look at their faces. Look at that. Just from one question, this guy's so good. It's Complicated channel if you didn't know. Subscribe to his channel. This guy's spreading truth. With one question, he just showed how dumb all of them are. And how brainwashed all of them are. But instead it's just, haha, they're going to keep them just like go out and have a drunk night in Vegas and not have to think about it again. This is the first time they've been presented with logic. You need to be playing chess with them. The logic you need to like get past all their feminism bullshit needs to be on 10. I was just talking with him. He's like, it's like playing chess. He knows what they're going to say. When you figure it out, when you figure out the matrix, we know what you're gonna say. It's the same shit with the 1 minute podcast. You ask leading questions and then let them figure it out for themselves so that on camera, they all look dumb just like this. What a beautiful screenshot. This is them taking the red pill.
Humans have intersectionality.
That's a hermaphrodite.
Something that's male and female.
Okay, so that's two. You're further making my point.
Right, but
show me something with 3 or 4 or 5 genders.
Hermaphrodite is a type of sex where you have combined chromosomes of male and female.
Of what?
Male and female.
That's 2.
Combined.
Amen. That's 2, and that's my point. There's only 2. Now that's my point. There's only 2. You'll never see a non-binary zebra. You'll never see a 2-spirit horse. You'll never see a frog that thinks he's a monkey.
In order to get a high-value man, you have to be a high-value woman, which means you need to do things that other girls don't do. So, for example, do you go out to clubs or bars?
No.
You're on OnlyFans, though? Yes. Okay, that isn't something a high-value woman does. Doesn't matter. OnlyFans is known for that, and you're associated with it. So if you associate yourself with the wrong crowd, people are going to take you and put you in that wrong crowd, even if you're really not. So you have to continue to be a high-value woman, but you can't do that if you're subscribing or having men subscribe to what you're selling on the internet.
Whoever says that a woman cannot have male friends is very insecure.
Stop the cap.
Deeply, super, very insecure.
Tell us how.
Because he doesn't want his woman to be surrounded by any male energy. Because he has a small dick. I'm sorry.
Yeah. Here's the thing. When girls say insecure or small dick energy, that's typically translation. I don't like the fact that the guy that I'm dealing with has boundaries and standards, and I don't want to necessarily adhere to them. So I want to be able to continue to act like I'm single, even though I have a guy at home. And what we tell guys all the time is that if you're a man and you have a woman, you have to have boundaries and standards. And one of them is if she has her guy friends around, she doesn't respect you to that same degree. She should be willing to cut those guys.
I guarantee
because here's the thing. It's not that I don't trust you. I don't trust them.
Yeah.
Have to understand the nuances of why women do what they do. If you don't, your life will be a living fucking hell. I don't care how much money you got. I don't care if you're in the NBA. I don't care if you work for Harley fucking Davidson Motorcycle Company and they're letting you take motorcycles home. If you don't understand female nature, your life is fucking ruined. Because every man wants to fuck. Every man needs to fuck. Every man needs his fair share of women. Every man. Even the incels. That's why the incels still watch porn and beat their meat, because deep down they're missing that validation from the women that they truly want. And when you blue pill and women fuck you over, you go fucking insane. Dude, I remember I used to punch holes in the wall at the crib.
What is one of the first things I say men want from a woman from a physical standpoint?
Want like the physical, like beauty, basically.
Before that,
because you say it, because I don't really.
Fit, feminine, friendly, cooperative, submissive. Okay. So automatically you're 200 and some odd pounds.
Right.
That X's you out of the game right there.
Black women feel like their base needs for height and dick size or penis size means more than a man's character, his resources, the kind of man he's going to be, the kind of father, the kind of network, the kind of legacy, all that other kind of stuff. All that stuff is secondary to your carnal base desires.
Is it okay to approach?
I think it's okay to approach a woman if they're out and about, like if they were going to a bar, going to a club. I would definitely not try to approach a woman if they're like at a grocery store or something like that.
Grocery store, but then the same girls will also say, I want to meet a guy at Trader Joe's, it's so romantic. She's the same girl who wants to meet a guy at Trader Joe's. Come on, bro.
If either of you were looking for a quality man, where would you expect to find one?
I think a grocery store would be prime.
And
I love this channel.
When it comes to dating and relationships, who is typically seen as the prize, the man or the woman?
The woman.
Ooh, the woman for sure.
The woman. The woman.
The woman.
So if the woman is the prize, what would that make the man?
The wallet.
Yeah.
Doesn't that place the man at a lower value and status to the woman?
Yes.
Don't women typically want to date a man on her level or higher?
Yes.
So don't women typically want to date a man who's a prize and not a loser?
No, I like to be better.
So if a woman declares herself the prize, isn't that relationship destined to fail?
No, because I think, actually I know I'm a prize. And so I think that a man should value me for what I am.
All the feminists who just found my page, hello. My name is Chad, owner of Defund.
What in the patriarchal pole pimping do we have here? It's almost like you think women are sexual objects that should always be submissive to men's desires, especially if they know what we want. It's misogynist macking you call yourself doing right here. It's coming off real suspect talking about some DM me to book one-on-one call. One can imply that you heterosexual, but the way you making these videos to appeal to men by bashing women, it come off as simping to say the least. I know you was trying to be a little humorous, but you calling women manipulative bitches for not wanting to sleep with dudes they put in the friend zone, it just don't sit right with me. And it's definitely like some textbook violent shit. How you gonna defund simping with more simping? You call yourself local light skin. You rocking bangs, not the bangs. And your real name is Chad, folks. Meg Thee Stallion told me to tell your homeboys, say if they ain't got the cat by now, they lame if they still waiting. Go on about your business. She don't want you, bro.
Maybe you just think that women should be equally represented in the decision-making fora of our nation. Maybe that's really just about having proper equality in a body that's meant to be representative.
Well, I do believe that women should have... I don't understand your question, I guess.
I guess you don't. That's pretty obvious, unfortunately.
Well, how about if you phrase it more clearly, instead of just insulting me? 99.9% of bricklayers are men. Should we have quotas for women?
Is bricklaying representative democracy?
That has nothing to do with the question. The question is if there's evidence of structural inequality and oppression because women aren't precisely represented at 50% in all professions at all levels, then why don't we have a conversation about having women represented in all professions at all levels? Why do we talk about the C-suite, for example? Why do we talk about politics and positions of power? Why don't we talk about it across the board? Yeah, but that's because it's power.
It's true. This shit's kind of hitting me now. Because I've been on their side this whole time. None of them were with me. No, be honest, be honest. If I had 6 million subscribers, 2 million on IG with a check mark, but since I have 30K in the bank right now, that I've been saving up for the last 15 years, since I only have 1,000 on IG, y'all not fucking with me. So you know what? I'm gonna get in my bag. I'm gonna get 6 million subscribers on YouTube. Okay. I'm gonna get 2 million on IG. Okay. I'm gonna have Mark Wahlberg come up to me. I'm gonna have Mark Cuban be like, yo, I know you. Yes, sir. I'm gonna have a billionaire say, I know who you are. Yes. I'm gonna be courtside at an NBA game and get a fucking airplane in the future. So you know what? I'm not gonna let you guys dictate nothing about me. I'm red pill now. I'm taking the red pill.
How much money do you think a guy should make per year?
Depends where they live. I mean, if I'm like dating them, it'd be nice if they were at least making $100,000.
Do you think
they understand what it takes to actually make your first 6 figures, I highly, highly doubt it. They can want whatever they fucking want, but a lot of these women don't have an understanding of what it really takes for a man or for anybody to make that 6 figures. And it takes time to develop those characteristics and those traits to be able to cultivate that amount of money.
Do you think a trans woman is a woman?
No.
Why not?
Because I think that women are capable, generally speaking, of having babies, and they have female genitalia, and they have an XX chromosome, and I think the biological markers are relevant. It doesn't necessarily mean that I don't think that people should be treated with respect and dignity if they happen not to fit easily into a gender category. That's a different issue.
Right.
But it's a matter of definition, and I actually think it's a foolish argument in some sense, because what do you mean by real?
Well, I mean, you've just clarified that, though. You don't think that a trans woman is a woman. And do you think that that is what is behind or explains your opposition to this idea of a law mandating you to use a preferred pronoun, is because you don't actually believe that that's the truth, that a trans woman is a woman, and therefore you can't use that pronoun?
No, that's not my argument at all.
Really?
Yeah, really. My argument is that the government shouldn't compel voluntary speech.
No, but I know what your argument is, and
no,
you've made it very clearly.
But that's exactly it.
But the motivation behind it.
Men are bailing entirely out of the entire sexual dynamic process as well. Not only not having relationships with women, but not having sex at all. It's part of the broad-scale demoralization of men. And so how does that start? Well, it starts in school, and the reason it starts in school is because the more boisterous boys, so more extroverted and less agreeable, so actually more hard to discipline and control. They don't want to sit still for 6 hours a day and shut up and not say anything. They want to run around and play, and they want to do it competitively. And that is like verboten in school. If you're the sort of boy who wants that, you're nothing but trouble. And so right at the beginning, the boys are taught that their deepest intrinsic desire for, let's say, active exploration and engagement, a certain degree of competitive dominance, that's bad. That's morally bad. So that's brutal, especially when it's medicated out of them, which is exactly what happens on the attention deficit disorder front, let's say.
So I'm here with
Zaire Mitch.
I'm here with McQueen.
Demorier.
All right, so I got one question for y'all. Y'all ready? Yeah. Rate me 1 through 10.
Rate you 1 through 10 or rate your outfit through 1 through 10?
You want to do both? That's okay if you want to do both.
This is your video.
Okay, all right, rate me 1 through 10.
10. Yeah. I'm going to give you a
8.
7.5.
Damn, okay.
7.5, yeah.
That goes crazy.
Why is it crazy?
Because I'm not no 7 or a half.
How did you know that?
Because I'm mean.
Because all these censuses there told you a bunch of lies?
No.
What? It's
Damn.
crazy. It's crazy. You can't tell you 7.5?
No, I just know myself, so I'm not a 7.
What do you think you are?
I'm a 10.
You're a 10? That's a fucking lie. I'm going to be 100.
My occupation is a certified bad bitch.
Certified bad bitch or boss bitch?
Very much baddie vibes.
Baddie,
like
what?
full-time baddie, no breaks.
What? So
it's very much full-time.
What does that mean? Can you explain that?
It's just a lifestyle. Like I mean, if you get it, you get it. The rules are there. I mean, I feel like every woman can be a certified baddie. It's just the mindset, and it's a full-time job.
But if you had, if there was a dictionary and you were hired by Webster's to define certified bad bitch, is that what it is?
Yes.
What would be the dictionary definition of a certified bad bitch?
I mean, if just like toning it down completely, just a woman who's confident in herself, does whatever she wants for herself, nobody else, just woman, whatever, men, whatever, anybody can be a certified bad bitch.
I think if you're ever going to rate yourself, you should always rate yourself a 10, because you become more attractive when you hear how a person thinks. 10.
Okay, so you're a 10.
Yeah.
Okay, she's a 10. I have some makeup remover here. Does anybody want to revise their answer?
What's your name?
Isaac.
Isaac. What do you rate me out of 10?
I'm happily married. She would not rate me.
Okay, so if you had to rate me if you didn't have a wife, come on.
That'd be a 1. It's a little desperate, that's why. The most important person in my life is my wife. So she's number 1.
Women are the gatekeepers of sex.
I don't know. I just feel like it sexualizes women. Wait, don't you have an OnlyFans? Are you used to? I
know,
Like,
yeah.
yeah.
She already talked about that. She's capitalizing on men.
No,
being
whoa, I wasn't
that way.
hating. I was just. I don't like that women can be overly sexualized.
You're benefiting.
I am benefiting
from that.
Yeah, that's true, but it doesn't mean I love it.
Well, that's convenient, don't you
I
think?
know, I do. I think it's very hypocritical, but why wouldn't I profit off of that if the world is that way?
So what is your advice beyond banal comments like clean your room?
It's actually rather difficult to answer a question that ends with your comments are banal politely. I would consider that more of an opinionated personal and political statement than actually a question. So why don't you try reformulating that so that there's an actual question?
Jordan Peterson pointed out with that girl, well, you sound like you're mostly either just insulting me or have a negative opinion, not so much asking an actual question. So do you want to try again? And it was just like, wow, mic drop.